Hey, what is up, guys? It's Cam Bam here. Today, we're going to be ranking some more movies today. These are all 10 Shudder movies that I have seen this year. They aren't all from this year, but most of them, or half of them are, half of them aren't. Some of them are actually really old movies. Some of them aren't. But yeah, these are all movies I would all recommend in some way, shape, or form. So, anyways, we're going to be ranking them all today, and yeah, let's get into it. All right, first on the list is stop motion. I think this was a 2023 movie. This movie, I heard a lot of good things about it before I watched it, and I started watching it, and I got like 30 minutes in, and I was getting kind of bored of it. That's one of the issues with this film is it doesn't start out very interesting. But then I stopped watching it, but then I was like, a few days ago, I was like, I might get back to watching this so I can do this video, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did because this movie picked up right from where I left off. That movie just escalated right off the bat. It escalated in a very, very dark way. It's a very, very good movie. I really like this one. I couldn't remember if it was from this year or 2023. I'm pretty sure it's 2023. But yeah, this movie was really good. I do like this one a lot. I thought the stop motion animations were very unique and very clever. They were really well done as well. Like I thought this film had a lot of like really cool effects. Like this movie was really well done. Um Now for the rest of this list, there are some movies that I would say that are a lot better than this movie, but this one was pretty high up there. This movie really got me going. I was like those last 30 minutes, I was like having my mouth open the whole time, like in shock because of how like gory and dark it was and like how much was going on. But yes, I think this one's gonna be an A. This one was very good. All right, Oddity. Now, I've talked about this one before in a few of my other videos. I haven't ranked it by itself yet. But yes, this one was either my. It's very. I can't tell because there's one other movie I watched recently on this list that's from 2024 that might be better than this one. But this, for a long time this year, was my favorite horror movie of this year. And I was so proud to say it was because this movie scared the absolute crap out of me. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if I said this in my other video that I ranked this on, but I watched The Ring whenever I was 8 years old, and that movie gave literal chills down my spine when I watched that movie, and all the jump scares in that movie really gave me chills down my spine. Like I froze and the chill went down my spine literally because it just was so unexpected, and I haven't had that since that movie until Oddity came in. Oddity was just so scary. Like this actually horrified me. The jump scares were super efficient, and especially one of them really got me. It really got me. It was very unexpected. And they were all cleverly well done. Yes, but this one I think is gonna go in S. This one was just so good this year. Very good film. And there is another one called Caveat in this list that is also from the same director that we'll talk about later. But yes, for Oddity, that movie was so well done. I really loved it. Yeah, I really like that movie a lot. All right, now we're on to Hush. Now, this movie was the last one I saw out of all these movies, and it's actually the oldest one out of all these movies. It was made in 2016. It released in 2016. This movie was really good. I really enjoyed this one. I thought this one was really cleverly done. And I've heard a lot about this movie and how underrated it was for a long time now. Like I said, it's a very older movie. It's way older than a lot of these other movies. But yes, this one was really good. Like this one had me on the edge of my seat. It was really good, and I really loved how this was like a unique slasher. Like I liked how really there wasn't many slashers like this where it's a deaf woman and this guy is really just trying to kill her out of no motivation. There are usually films that they have no motivation, but not with a deaf lady that I've seen before. At least I've never seen one like this, quite like this. It was really good. It was a sight to be seen. I would say this one is A though. I think it was very well done, but I don't think it's like Oddity level or some of these other ones that I'm gonna rank up there. But Hush is probably top of A. This one was really good. Yeah, probably top of A. I really enjoyed this movie. All right, now the influencers. So this one my dad recommended to me. He himself said he didn't really expect this movie to be very good because he's not a big social media guy. But even him, when he watched it himself, he really enjoyed this movie. And I can say the same. Now, there was one issue I had with it. The very start of this movie, I'm not going to spoil anything, but it was very obvious on what was going to happen. Like I knew it from a mile away what was going to happen. So I knew what was gonna happen those first 30 minutes or first part of the movie. It was very obvious on what was gonna end up happening and what starts off the movie. But the rest of the movie, like especially the end, I did not see that coming. There's one part where I was like thinking that something was gonna happen, but something completely different happened. Like it was very, very unexpected at the end. But the first part of it was very, I could see that coming from a mile away. That's the only issue I really had with this movie. It was very well done. I really like this one a lot. So I think this one I'm gonna put into. I think I'm gonna also put it in A. I don't think it was as good as the ones we have here so far. It's just not scary enough for me. Like I get they all don't have to be super horrifying and like jump scares and all that. But I like the scares of these three right here. That's why I like them so much. I also liked how stop motion and Hush and Oddity too. All they have these trauma and anxiety built around the whole story. Like that's why I like those movies where they start out like a normal person, kind of like Smile. Like that's why I like the Smile movies so much. It's because they start out all this normal stuff, and then something happens to make them go downhill in mental health all throughout the whole entire film. And that's just a really cool journey to see. I don't know why. It's just always such a good. That always makes such a good movie to see for me. But yes, this had that kind of in it, but I really like the horror aspect pulled into it as well. But yes, this one's gonna probably be at the end of A. It was still a really good movie, like I said. All right, What Josiah Saw. Now this one is a very, very disturbing movie. Like this one is like so dark, so dark. It's like darker than a lot of films out there right now. Actually, my dad, who has actually seen a ton of movies, he watched this movie after I recommended it to him, and he came up to me and was like, Cameron, why did you not tell me? And I was like, what? And he was like, why did you not tell me how dark this movie was? And I really just didn't really, the ending was kind of hard for me to understand. That's why I didn't really tell him how dark it was. But then when he explained it, his side of his point on the movie or his takeaway, I realized how dark this movie was. And yeah, he said it was probably the darkest movie he's ever seen. He's seen so many movies, I can't even imagine how many movies he's seen. But yes, he's a really big guy into film. But yes, this movie, he said, was probably the darkest movie he's ever seen, one of them at least. And that's pretty dark. If he's seen as many movies as I've seen him see, this one being one of the darkest is a pretty dark movie. So I think this one is really well done in that. I do like this movie. I just didn't like how I just didn't like that ending. It's kind of hard to understand what was going on in the ending. You can take many different takeaways from this movie. But yeah, this was a very good movie. It was just super dark, very disturbing. Um, it wasn't super memorable for me though. That's the only reason I'm not gonna put it higher than any of these other ones. It's very hard for me to say. I think I'm gonna put this one into. I think I'm gonna have to put this one in B because it wasn't very memorable to me. Like these other ones, I know that I've seen them pretty recently, but especially Audi. I saw this back in June, I think, or whenever it was in theaters. I forgot when it was in theaters, but yes, this one and all these other ones were just very memorable. I know I saw these three very recent, so yeah, I would obviously remember them. And I saw this one pretty later on in like a few months ago, so this might actually end up being higher. But for now, I'm just gonna put it B. All right, now I was talking about this one earlier. Caveat: this one was made by the same director of Oddity, and I can say that Oddity was a huge improvement on his directing style. Like Caveat was his first one, and then Oddity came out this year. And Caveat, I just really did not enjoy this one. I did not find it scary at all, and it was trying so hard to be scary for me, and I just didn't see it being scary at all. I just really didn't. And it was very hard to keep up with what was going on too. I get what was going on actually. I just really didn't find it scary. Like it wasn't scary to me. I felt like it was just trying to be scary, and it wasn't. It wasn't at all. So I'm gonna put this one. It wasn't bad by any means, but I think this one's gonna go into C. I think it's gonna go into C tier. I still liked it, but it just wasn't scary. That's the only thing that ruined it for me. Because if it's gonna be like all these things that are trying to be super scary, it has to go through with that. It has to make it scary for the audience, and it just didn't do that for me individually. So yeah, I'm gonna put this one into C. Alright, now we're on to Arcadian. I have ranked this one so many times on my other videos. I think you guys have seen this one so many times. So we're going to rank this one very quickly because I've said my parts about this one. If you guys want to watch the actual ratings on this movie, you can go watch another video. I've got it in the link down in the description below. It's also in some other videos of mine too. But we're going to rank this one into B. I think this one's a B. It was good, but I just don't think it was good as these other ones up here. Not A tier worthy. There's a lot of other movies that this year that came out that were just above this movie. It doesn't mean it's a bad movie at all. It was very good, but it's still a movie that I just think is a B tier. All right, In a Violent Nature. Now this one I've rated another time too, so we're not gonna rank this one super quick because I've rated this one like 3 times. This one I've only rated once. So, like I've said in other movies, this one was very gruesome. I thought that the killing part was very, very good and well done, except it was just the director needs some counseling because it was pretty freaking gruesome. But the part I really didn't like about this movie, and I've seen a lot of other people say this too, is that when you're in the position or when you're in the point of view as the killer, there's just so much walking around in the woods. And there was a lot of that. Half of this movie was dedicated to this guy just walking in the woods. And that does give it some points off for me. Just because it wasn't needed to be that much walking. I do like the idea of it, but that part of it just didn't really go well with me. But otherwise, this movie was very well done, especially with those killing parts. The kills were all really cool and just very gruesome and really unique. Some of them, one of them especially, like I've said in my other video, if you've seen this movie, you know which one I'm talking about. But this one I think I'm going to put in a B as well. I think this one's going to go behind Arcadian because it doesn't really have much of a story. It does have a story, but it doesn't have story-based stuff like all these movies. It just is one of those killing slasher movies. It's just one of those. So I'm going to put it behind Arcadian, but it's still going to be B tier. I don't think it's as down as C or D, but I think it's going to go into B. Alright, now we're on to Daddy's Head. Now, I've rated this one as well. This title is very weird, by the way. I hate saying it, but yeah. I've rated this one before. This one I said was actually better than In a Violent Nature. But now I've kind of thought about it and given it some more thought. And I actually think it's going to be worse because of some reasons. And I've said this in my other video with this movie, that it had a ton of plot holes in this movie. I actually think it's going to be... those plot holes really turned me off of this movie. It has some good parts in it. I just can't rank it really higher than a C. Because I just don't think it deserves that because it had all these plot holes. It had these parts in it that were made out to be they were going to be explained, but they never were. It had some parts that were gonna act like they were going to be a big part of the movie. Like I said, they weren't explained. I think this one's going to go behind. I think it's going to go above Caveat. I think it's better than Caveat just because Caveat just wasn't really scary. Probably the worst one on this list. But yeah, it was still a good movie. It just wasn't anything super good. And it also had those plot holes in it that turned it off for me. But yeah, this is the list for all these Shudder films. Like I said, I don't hate any of these movies. These are all good movies. They all have their pros and cons. Some have more cons than others. But yeah, this is a really like I've said, we didn't have any D movies. We had only 2 C movies, and those are still decent movies. They're not bad movies by any means. Alright, you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys all like this list. If you guys have different rankings, and if you guys have seen other movies on this list, even if you've seen all of them, by any means, write your list out in the comments. I would love to see you guys' rankings. I love seeing what you guys think of everything. I usually always love watching videos that everyone ranks their different opinions. I always love seeing other people's views. But yeah, like I said, write your listings in the comments if you want. I would love to read them. But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. This is going to be the end of the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, by the way. And yeah, thank you all for watching. Peace.